Om Stapakaya cha dharmasya sarvadharma swarupine avatar varishtaya Ramakrishna te namaha. Salutations to Bhagavan Ramakrishna, the establisher of dharma. At the same time, is the embodiment of all dharmas, the best of the avatars. Welcome to the second class of this series of self-knowledge or Atmabodha. I salute Bhagavan Shankara, who is the repository of the Vedas, the scriptures that are remembered, and the ancient stories called mythology, who is also the abode of compassion and who is the world's benefactor. Shruti Smriti Purananam Alayam Karunalayam Namami Bhagavat Padam Shankaram Loka Shankaram. It is proper form to salute the teacher before proceeding to learn about what he has placed before humanity. Self-knowledge. This is the means to liberation. The last time in the online chat as well as the in-person, there was one objection that it is so difficult. Even the preliminary steps are so difficult. It is. But it can be made easy by changing one's perceptions about oneself. We think, and we have been trained to think, that we are bodies, nothing but bodies. And our whole life revolves around this. That's a very dim view of oneself. There are higher views, that you are the mind. And there's still a higher view, that you are the self, the soul, or the Jivatman, or the Atman. So it's a change in perception. At least start thinking that you are the mind, because you feel the mind more than you feel the body. You feel the body when you have aches and pains. You're hungry or thirsty. But generally you feel the mind more than... You try to center yourself there. So until and unless the perception of oneself does not change, then things appear very difficult. So that is one. Second, upaya, as they say, means, is to take refuge in the Guru, who is God himself. And this God is as tangible to some people as a direct object. So that is another way, because there are certain souls that come to help you. So why don't you take their help? Then the process becomes very easy. The first verse that we had commenced and not completed the explanations. I am composing, Adi Shankaracharya, am composing the Atmabodha, self-knowledge, to serve the needs of those who have been purified through the practice of tapasya, austerities, and who are peaceful in heart, free from cravings, and desirous of liberation. So we had seen the first word, tapobi. In the plural, it is people who practice severe austerities. And there's a plethora of hard austerities that have been practiced by people over thousands of years, depending on what denomination or what tradition you are born in. But the Bhagavad Gita is very clear, and this is mentioned as a note in the book. Those who are following along with me in the book could refer to the austerities. Various austerities have been prescribed for purification of the mind, such as obligatory duties. This is called a nitya karmas. Worship, self-control, etc. The Bhagavad Gita is perhaps has put it the most succinctly. There are three levels: the body, speech, and mind. And each level of your existence has to be purified. And what are the purifications? The austerities. The austerity of the body consists in worship of the gods, the Brahmins, the religious preceptors, and the wise, in cleanliness, uprightness, continence, and non-violence. It's called Deva, Dvija, Guru, Prajna, Pujanam, Shauchama. So this brings you a kind of humility. And when you worship those who have advanced in the path of spirituality, then it opens you up for knowledge. And that's what you're seeking for. Austerities have not any powers in mind, though people do practice austerities for powers, and various powers are enumerated. The body itself can be made very powerful. The mind is a repository of tremendous powers. The problem is we think that we know the mind. I have not come across somebody who says, I know the mind entirely. You don't know. And if you don't know the mind, you don't know yourself. So, but people practice austerities for psychic powers or whatever. But here, the practice of austerities is for knowledge, is for purification. Then he says, and again he said, cleanliness, uprightness, continence, sexual continence, and non-violence. These are the austerities of the body. The austerity of speech consists in utterance of words that do not give offense and are truthful, pleasant, and beneficial. And also in the regular study of the Vedas. Now this is anudvega karam vakyam satyam priya. You know, sometimes we say the truth, but sometimes the truth is very damaging. So rather keep quiet, okay, and go your way. So sometimes truth is more damaging than lies. Of course, in the long run, it is truth that wins. Satyameva jayate. nanritam. It is truth alone that triumphs, not untruth. But when you're in a world that you're interacting with people, you've got to be careful. Okay. So, and it's wise counsel. And which is pleasant, truthful, pleasant, and beneficial. So, Satyam, Priya, Hitam, Chayat. And then Swadhyaya, study of the Vedas, study of the scriptures. Swadhyaya. In the old days it was, you study on your own. Your own traditional, you can say, scriptures. Swadhyaya. Abhyasanam. It is study of the. So this is when you repeat the words, you study. And in the old days, it was the study of the Vedas was first recitation. You recite, and then you memorize them. It automatically goes into memory, and as you memorize, it cleanses all that inner dirt. You're sitting down to meditate, and then suddenly one old tune of an old song comes up. So that has to be pushed out. How do you do that? By study. Anudvega karam vakyam satyam priyad swadhyaya abhyasanam vang. So constant practice. And then austerity of the mind. Consistent practice of inner serenity, kindliness, silence, self-control, and purity of heart. Manaprasada saumyatvam maunam. It's, we keep on talking. Right now I have to talk, don't worry. The silence, if you can practice silence at least half an hour, 1 hour, or 2 hours a day, not when you're sleeping, of course. There are some people who even talk in sleep. The silence. It's a practice of self-control, and it develops tremendous powers. And if you can keep silent, mauna, quiet, there is a kind of an intoxication that's felt. Not the ordinary intoxication. Okay. It's kind of, you feel a kind of a lift. Yeah. So it's an inner serenity, kindliness. You've got to be kind to everything. And self-control and the purity of heart. So these are the threefold austerities to be practiced. What happens is, oh my God, so much. You work at it. And it is always found people who are active, who are performing karma, any sort of karma, whether secular or spiritual or whatever, the people who are active are more competent for this than those who are the lazy ones, and those who are saying, oh, it's my destiny, it's my prarabdha, oh, it's my kapal, as you say. So people who are active can practice this, and that purification, karma itself is the purification. And as last time we had said, the word also, one of the final words in this verse, it's mumukshu now. If you have the desire for liberation, you've got to work at it. Simply sitting, I want to be free, will not do. Because the whole of Vedanta is based on your self-effort. There is something called a karma, the power of karma that has wrought this body and this world, etc. There is also the power of self-effort. And that self-effort is also has wrought everything, your body and the world. So these two powers, they run parallel and they flip one over the other. Those who have willpower, they will succeed quickly. And for that, one needs to be active and working hard. So this is the age of the display of these two things, karma and directed karma through self-effort. Everything that humanity is now reaping the benefits of, it's displayed in the city, in the world, everywhere, in science, in technology, everywhere. It's the power of self-effort. People are working. It's not that those guys are not working. But now we have the numbers with us. Imagine more than 8 billion people. And we're all working. Our bodies and minds are designed by work to work. So don't stop working. Keep on and on and on. But only it has to be directed now. You've got to be a master. That is what is called self-effort. So peaceful in heart, craving, etc., desirous of liberation. So in Vedanta, there are these 4 qualifications, the initial qualifications. He has mentioned, according to the Vedanta, the study of the scriptures, etc. First one, the discernment between the real and the unreal. This is most important. You discern what is real and what is unreal. Nitya, anitya, vastu viveka. You will see your lives, most of it is imaginations and things that you thought you will get or are thinking that you will get or something like that. Or most of your time you are in the past. To bring your mind down into the present, keep it here. Instead of, they call it smriti in the past, or kalpana, imaginations. And most of us, we have not been able to know what is wrong info, false beliefs. We have been injected with all the types of conspiracy theories. Oh my God. And we built sometimes our entire understanding of the world and people and society based on these conspiracies. To eliminate all these, I say sometimes, here conspiracy theories are, all over the place, everywhere. What conspires? It's just take you away. If you have an alert mind, if you can do some critical thinking, you will find a lot of things, you've wasted a lot of your time and a lot of your energy into thinking things which are wrong. Take for instance, my favorite is, there are people who still believe and who firmly fight for it, the earth is flat. Yes. So you have these people who, you're welcome to your own opinion, but when the moment you try to, earth is flat, well, everything goes against it. So whenever you hear the earth is flat and you use your own brains, then don't listen to them. That is the discernment between the real and the unreal. Yes, on final analysis, the self, the Atman is real and everything else unreal. Shri Ramakrishna keeps on saying, one must discriminate between the real and the unreal. Real is that is permanent, that is immortal, that is infinite. The unreal is that which is changing, that which is mutable, that which is subject to all the forces of nature. So this first is discernment between the real and the unreal, and the sixth, renunciation here, renunciation of everything, all desires year and year after. Or if I do this, after 20 years I'll get this. Or if I pray now, maybe I'll go to heaven, and maybe I'll go there and then I'll play the harp, or I'll drink wine, whatever. So please, all those kind of fancy desires have to be get ridden of. So it's elaborately discussed in his introduction. Those who are interested in that will go through it later. On my book is on page 34, the 4 qualifications of the pupil. So under that subheading, the whole thing is given. Okay, because I'll be referring to the long introduction as I proceed in explaining the text. The idea of Swami Nikhilananda writing this long introduction was, in those days, people had to be oriented a bit into what is Vedanta till the text is kind of presented to them. So the third is Shama Adi Shat Sampatti. That is, these are the ethical foundation, the 6 treasures, Shama, Dhamma, Titiksha, etc. These are the foundation of spiritual life, especially for a Vedantic spiritual life. This practice prepares the inner faculty. Shama, or calmness, is keep the mind within inside, control of the mind. Dhamma is the control of the external sense organs, control of the sense. And then third is Uparati. After it's controlled, don't let it go out. Let it, draw it and keep it inside. So that's the power. So in all these things, the illustration of a chariot, which is given in the Upanishad, in which Nikhilananda also discusses. The body is the chariot, the senses are the horses, the mind is the reins in the hands of the intellect, buddhi, and the soul is the passenger. So if the discriminating faculty, that is the buddhi, gets hold of the reins, the mind, and can direct the horses, then it leads you to. If the horses are stronger than your intellect, then you're going to have trouble. You're going to go in the ditch there. And then the fourth is forbearance, titiksha. It's a tremendous power that you will forbear, you will bear everything that comes your way. Heat, cold, pain, pleasure, joy, sorrow, everything. Don't just jump about. You get a little pinprick and saying you run to 20 doctors. Keep quiet. The body itself has the power to heal itself. And not only that, it gives you a grip on yourself. So titiksha, this is called Shraddha, or faith. Faith in the words of the Guru and the scriptures. And samadhana, or concentration. When you can concentrate. So it's like that oxyacetylene flame. If the nozzle is kind of not tuned properly, the flame is diffused. But once you narrow the nozzle, the fire comes in a kind of in a beam, as it were, and it can cut through iron. So concentration, samadhana, is this. People have translated it as samadhi. Samadhi itself is concentration. People say he's gone into samadhi. Yeah, he's gone into concentration. That is the meaning of the word samadhi in the yoga aphorisms. The other word for samadhi and concentration is yoga. So these are the 6 treasures. So what treasures do you want? You're going to lay up all the treasures. What? People work for treasures. Yeah, you better have these treasures. These are the 6 treasures. They're worth having. So, and then the 4th qualification, the desire for liberation. We had discussed it a little, as we are all feeling kind of constrained by circumstances, by ourselves, by our own thinking, and we are trying to push against these constraints. We are trying to free ourselves. When the body is not well, it is trying to free itself from what is making it unwell. When the mind is restless, it is also showing that it's trying to get things away from that, whatever is making it restless. So the nature of freedom is embedded in every individual. Every living being has a desire for freedom. Freedom from wants, and freedom from hunger, and freedom from thirst, and freedom. The higher spiritual freedom is freedom from the bonds of nature. So this freedom, it's not to be acquired, it has to be grown. And it is there, it has to be cultured, nurtured over and over and over again. Why? Because that is your real nature. The soul inside understands that these layers that have come and they are smothering me are taking away my real nature. And the soul is trying to push it away. So that's why the soul is Nitya, Shuddha, Buddha, Mukta. It's always one of the qualities of the soul is freedom. So this freedom is already there. It's covered. So you start uncovering it. And as you keep on uncovering it, you start realizing freedom. It's so free. Suppose you are in some trouble and then you become free from the trouble. See how good you feel. So this idea of freedom is what makes us get up in the morning and go to work and suffer all the indignities and all the criticism and all the negative things, and we go again. This is what actually helps us. This is at the background of our own life and our own, you can say, activities. Take this away and finish, you're over, you spiral down. You go to any cities in the US, you see in some areas, you'll have people who have just given up. They just spiral. It's only now by God's grace something happens and they come out of it and then say, no, I want to get out of this mess that I've put myself in. Otherwise, so this has to be kept alive. The sense of freedom and has to be grown and grown and grown. Because the soul will not sleep forever. Swamiji says, till the sleeping soul is roused to self-conscious activity. Yes. He's saying power will come, glory will come, all that is goodness will come when this sleeping soul is roused to self-conscious activities. So use your soul power. Instead of this, we are using your money power, or your intellectual power, and all the power of my friends, or something like that. In the Mahabharata, they say there are various powers like Bahubal, that is, you see arm wrestlers, no? The strength of the body. And Arthabala, the power of money. Buddhibala, the power of the intellect, because the intellect at times can deceive you also and deceive others also. All the very intelligent, you can say, scamsters, they're very intelligent and they can take you for a ride. So using this, the self-conscious activity of the soul is what will lead you to the field. One by one, not one by one, sometimes it falls all off together. The bonds are slightly, they can going away, receding away from you. So this is the qualification, okay, and it's a long. So we had discussed what is the self and what is knowledge. Knowledge, we all know. To know, to know. It is knowledge of the self. What is the self? It is Atma. So the word has been explained here by Nikhilananda. The word is generally rendered here as soul or self. Yes, the self is the closest because it has begun with the German philosophers translating the Upanishads and all in the initial years. They used to use the word self that way, and then it became very current. And soul was there, of course, and it's not. Oh, they started using the word soul. Oh, no. Humanity had the idea of a soul for thousands and maybe 10,000 or maybe 20,000 years. Oh yeah, there is something called anima. The soul is something that animates the body, and it was called animism. Everything living has got an anima, and it enlivens. So trees, plants, birds, animals, human beings, and why? Because so the concept of a soul was there. The first concepts were made through this. But then in some civilizations, they had the idea of a double. So the soul was like a double, and it had a separate destiny. What depends what you did on with your physical body, of course. So that double had to be kept nice and quiet and nice. So if the double was harmed, then the physical body also would be harmed. So the physical body is harmed, the double also would be harmed. That's why you built all those big, huge pyramids and huge tombs and sarcophagus and all these things. So this body should be preserved. If the body is preserved, the double will be preserved. In ancient Babylonia, the double came out and it lost all love for its old. Obviously, after all this torture, what love you want? So these were the rudimentary ideas of the soul. Because they understood that there's something, even amongst the Greeks, that there was the Hades. You had to go and cross the river Styx, and there you could go and live in the underworld. So people say heaven and hell was designed later. No, it was much earlier, because they knew that the soul had a separate destiny. It was rewarded or punished. It's a very ancient, very ancient idea. It's not new. Humanity. So people had the idea that there was a soul separate from the body and which enlivened it. And when it left, that body died. Because they were trying to understand what happened. This person is alive now, and suddenly that person, how it said, fell down or grabbed by a tiger and they're dead. What happened to all that love and relationships and everything gone? They were thinking about what has happened. So the inquiry of death, and in the Kathopanishad, the inquiry of this thing. There's a young boy, he goes to the house of death, the god of death. I want to know what's the god of death. What is death? Some people say nothing exists. Some people say it exists. Asti iti, nayam asti iti chaike. I want to know because you are the God of death. This is an allegorical way of teaching the concept of the Atman. And then the first thing, Yama, the God of death, said, na jayate mriyate vavivat. This thing is not born, nor does it die. The soul doesn't. And then it takes him to higher and higher and higher concepts of the soul. The soul is now no more a finite thing, no more just a form, a body, a double. Because everything that has a form, a double, will perish in time. So in the Upanishads, and this is the only place where you had the whole inquiry complete. There's no other place where people inquired about the soul like it was there. And it's the year that is presented to humanity. They never kept it for themselves. They gave it to everybody. Yes, the soul is infinite. And then he says, the Atman is deathless, birthless, eternal, and the real substance in every individual. This is what it is. It is undying. There's an undying, eternal, infinite element in you, which you are only indirectly aware. You've got to become directly aware of it. That which runs your body and senses and mind and everything is that element which you do not know. It is the unchanging reality behind the changing body, sense organs, mind and ego. People say, ego, what is such? Who's I? Forget it, don't. If you try to find yourself, who am I, you will end up with the sense of the self as the ego. The ego is as much part of nature as this table is and this chair is. The I is something like this. It's that object. Though thinking it's a subject, it's a ruler, it takes all your attention away and you build your whole life over this. It is a part of nature. And this is where the Upanishads and all they came. It is even beyond this, your conception of yourself. Your idea of yourself is the ego. And it is depending on your memory and depending on your mind and depending on your intelligence. That is nothing. So the Atman is beyond even this. It is a spirit which is pure consciousness and unaffected by time, space and causality. Therefore it is limitless, it is one. One? Yes, we cannot have too many souls, too many selves. Vedanta says there is one. But each one of us feels that I have a soul. Yeah. In the highest reaches, even this idea of a separate soul goes away. The idea of a separate soul is Jivatman. When the idea of separateness goes away, it is the Atman. And this Atman is the same as Brahman. That's the final, you can say. Ayam Atma Brahma. This Atman is Brahman. That's a final declaration. What is Brahman? Oh my God, it's infinite. It's not a mathematical infinity and all that. Right now, it's just a concept. Oh, infinite, eternal, immortal, all-pervading, one, Advaita. So this Atman is a Brahman. Can you understand it? This entire universe, this world of 8 billion or something more, which is just a speck of dust floating in the solar system. And then there's solar system, and there are so many systems, and this entire universe is like a drop of water in the Pacific Ocean. Combine the Atlantic also. So this huge universe, you think, unending, is just a drop. When you realize the Atman, you say, what was I thinking? What was I dreaming? So that's why he's saying the dream breaks. You enter into the reality. You become the reality. So this idea of an external world as huge has to be changed. That perception has to be changed. The Atman is infinite and this world finite. When you have this change of perception, all these qualifications, etc., that is required to know this, they become easy, like eating candy. If you don't have diabetes, it's like, it becomes very easy. So Vedanta then becomes, so this is one of the reasons why Vedanta says, well, change your perception. And then the problems which are so huge and you are so small, then you are changed. You are so big and the problems are so small. Until and unless that thing does not, it's a revolving door. But don't keep on revolving. It simply turns. And when it turns, oh, that's what it is. This is the grounding. The first step. Oh, we are Vedantins. You better, like Sri Ramakrishna also says, there's a king had some ocular problems, eye, and he had gone to the ophthalmologist, and the ophthalmologist said, I think the eye needs a little kind of rest and little calmness. If you see green things, it'll give rest for your eyes. So he called a painter and said, paint everything green. I want to see everything green. So I want to save my eyesight. And after a few hours, a minister comes in. He looks at what happened. The whole palace is being painted green in the process of. Say, wait. Saying, no, it's the king's orders. Wait. He goes to the king. What happened? So, no, I have to protect my eyes, so I have to paint everything. It's green. That's a prescription. I got another better idea. He gave him a green tinted pair of glasses. Here. So you're seeing everything green. This is Vedanta. You change your glasses, you change your perception, and then whatever you thought that it was mine, yours, etc., it all belongs to God. This is change in perception. So as we proceed in this scripture, you will see how, by the grace of God, it will turn. And when it turns, your life will be changed. It's very important. Because if Vedanta cannot change your life, then nothing can. Even God who comes and pokes you in the eye, then you'll get annoyed. Why are you poking in my eye? So this is the reason why Nikhilananda also talked about it's darshana. It is to see. Vedanta darshana. It's not an armchair philosophy meant for the lazy fellows. Oh, this Vedanta, very good. Or you watch something on YouTube and say, very good Vedanta. You better put it into practice. As Bhagavad Gita, Swalpam apyasya dharmasya, even if you practice a little of this dharma, this teaching, it will save you from great fear. So when you are in this, the bound in stage of, you can say, bondage, you have the waking and the dreaming and the deep sleep state. People are saying, oh, waking, dreaming and deep sleep. And This is just to make you to understand that there are three levels of this creation here. The waking is this world of physical objects. The dreaming is the subtle world of the mind. And deep sleep is the cause of this subtle and gross worlds. So people say, oh, this is waking, dream and deep sleep. Vedanta will always, always, always link the individual to the collective, the universal. It does not go and try to do puja or worship your individuality. It gives you a nice, fine example, which is in the which is mentioned here and also in the Vedanta Sar. Like a tree in a forest. You are like that tree in a forest. So, what do you see? I see a tree. Then you missed the forest. The tree is part of the forest, and it tells you that you are part of the forest. So, waking, dream, and deep sleep means the subtle, the physical, the subtle, and the causal levels of the universe. Vedanta will not give you a kind of a nice balloon where you can sit inside. Take you separately and, oh, you are so good, you are so nice, you are the Atman. You are the Atman along with all the others. You think of yourself as part of the forest. So the individual is always linked to the collective, the universal. If this perception does not take place, then Vedanta will become nothing but selfishness. There was one monk who had come to Dakshineshwar and he got into some trouble and he heard there was all the gossip going on and Sri Ramakrishna heard it and he said, hey, what is this? What is this I'm hearing about you? I'll explain. He said, if the world is unreal, then my action also is unreal. You know, Sri Ramakrishna says, I spit on your Vedanta. In a different way. So that has to be kind of rejected. This idea that, oh, everything is unreal except me. No. You are part of the collective. You have to think of yourself as a whole. All life is connected to your life. And thank God for science today that it's been discovered that we are connected with a vast network of different levels. We are connected. The moment we stop being connected, we die. So we are connected physically, emotionally, mentally, psychically, intellectually, and from the level of soul also. So this is the first step in understanding. Okay. So the next, we'll stop here for today. We take this the second verse next Friday. In the meantime, we have a few announcements. Tomorrow we have a retreat, meditation retreat at Tapovan, at a center at Arlington, from 1 to 5. Come one, come all. It's a guided meditation, flower offering, the QA with the introductory talk, etc. Sunday, we have Vedas, God's mind. So we'll be discussing what the Vedas are. People say there are 4 Vedas or there are Vedas. You know, what is that? So that's at 10 a.m. And we have every evening we have Vespers here as well as at Tapovan. Wednesday, this coming Wednesday, we have Sri Ramakrishna's devotional aphorism on devotion. 10 taken by Swami Satyamayananda. Then we have Thursdays, we have at 7 p.m. on Google Meet, Towards the Goal Supreme. And of course, I told you what's next Friday. Time for question. Okay. What are some austerities that a seeker can use in early stages of their journey? Well, what can you do? Instead of eating so much, reduce it. Go half. We have a Swami. Yes, you always say, whatever you give, you say half. Yes, we overeat. So go. That's the first thing. And if you're feeling like, suppose you're feeling thirsty, a little thirsty, you grab one and you keep on drinking. Yeah. Control the urges. Yes. To put everything in your mouth. It's like it's a kind of a mania. So control, and then you start with this. Then sleep. You can start reducing your sleep. Sleeping for 8-9 hours as is recommended. Start cutting down sleep. You see how you feel energetic. I mean, what the body needs, it will take, but don't give it anything extra. Don't keep the body in a comfortable level. Have that now even doctors are saying there's something called a metabolic winter. Let your body kind of experience a little cold and heat, etc. First thing happens, you put all those kind of jackets and shorts. So start with this physical austerity. Then we'll tell you what exactly. What to do when everyone around you is clouded and ignorant and could care less about Vedanta? Should I make a change of friends and family? Yes, this is what I want to be a Vedantin, but everyone around me are so detrimental to my pursuit, I've given up my pursuit. No. Always remember, it takes two hands to clap. If you are kind, if you are humble, if you are loving, the people will respond like that. It's your responsibility as a Vedantin to not to insulate yourself from everything. The world is bad, I'm good. Now, show them what Vedanta is. And then you'll see how they will come to you. Not only come to you, they will come to learn, and not only to learn, they will help you. So this is always the way that one needs to, the world is bad. Yeah, the world is bad. But you start now changing your reactions to it, and then you'll see how the world changes. And it is found not only amongst humans, even animals and birds will they will respond to you. If you have hate and anger, you see all the animals run away from you. But if you're nice, you're a nice person, you see, they will come to you. So the world responds. So there was that very famous Russian author Dostoevsky saying, you are responsible in a way not only for yourself but for the world also. Do you get more than you give to the world? You start giving more, and then you will see it's balanced. The world will give you what you give to the world. Okay? So thank you very much. Yeah.
So if the soul already knows everything because it has gone through, because it's eternal, why did we choose to come here in this, like maybe in this body? What to learn?
Yeah. We could have taken that question out here, but I'll just briefly speak about it. It's an in-person question. If the soul knows, why did we choose to come here and get entangled in all this mess? The soul doesn't know completely because it is under the power of karma. The soul is a combination of two things. The light of consciousness reflected in the mind. That is the soul right now for you. This is what traverses. It's under the impulsion of past actions, past karma. So you now, you start one, you try like, you start one thing, you think one thing, and it leads to second, a third, and fourth, fifth. This is what karma catches you. Sit down quietly, a thought pops up, and from there, another thought pops up, and from there, third. You put a few seeds in the ground, and slowly things start popping out. So that's why they say you start one and it gives rise to a series of things. That's where we get caught. Okay, we'll take this up at length. Okay. Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Tat Sat Shri Ram Krishna Arpanamastu.